Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Today, something very unusual happened in Beijing. A lone hero staged quite a significant public protest against Xi Jinping in one of the busiest areas in Beijing. So I'll talk about this event first. Then I'll talk about what happened at the CCP 7th plenary session that just finished yesterday, whether Xi is likely to get his third term. 5 common understandings of CCP leaders have reached about the current situation in China and 8 policy directions to go based on the 5 common understandings. These policy directions may have an impact on each of us in one way or the other. So make sure you stick around till the end. Now, the breaking news today. Let's watch a short video first.
这桥上是有个自焚的嘛，拉横幅了，这20大添堵啊，这可是有问题了。大他妈的拉横幅自焚，我操！不知道是不是自焚啊？我操！拉横幅啊！你看看上面，我操！
Well, this protest happened this morning in one of the busiest areas in Beijing, a high-tech area called Zhongguancun in Haidian district. There are a lot of universities in this region. Now, let's see what the banners and the loudspeakers say again. This banner says, "Go on strike, boycott classes, remove dictator and national traitor Xi Jinping." And this banner says, "Say no to COVID test, say yes to food, no to lockdown, yes to freedom, no to lies, yes to dignity, no to cultural revolution, yes to reform, no to great leader, yes to vote. Don't be a slave, be a citizen." This is the moment when the man who staged the protest was taken away by the police. And this is an enlarged photo. It is now confirmed that the man who staged this protest is Peng Lifa, and his social media name is Peng Zaizhou. Before he staged the protest, he sent this Twitter reply to Cai Xia, a former CCP party school professor living in the US now, calling for national strikes and uprisings. So this is a poster he posted calling for a national boycott of classes and removing Xi Jinping. This poster calls for national strikes and the removal of Xi Jinping. The content of the smaller characters at the bottom is similar to the banner on the bridge, which read, "Say no to COVID test, yes to food," etc. And this poster calls for a national uprising and the removal of Xi Jinping too. The small characters at the bottom say, "Fight against dictatorship, fight against totalitarianism, fight against tyranny, fight against illegal third term, fight against personal worship." This poster calls for nationwide honks at Chang'an Street in Beijing, where Tiananmen Square is located, and other important locations, such as office buildings of the CCP's most important mouthpieces, China Central TV, the People's Daily, Xinhua, other military buildings, police stations, and government buildings, etc. And this is a post by Peng talking about tactics about how to stage protests. He has written a very long article, as long as 31 chapters, and the content includes an open letter to all Chinese people, a call for voting rights, explaining who we are, recruiting candidates, the legal basis of elections, campaign commitments, constitutional reform, economic reform proposals, opposing corruption, asking Xi Jinping to resign, promoting color revolution, etc. Please note that he has given himself the title of committee member for universal suffrage of the People's Republic of China. From a paper of him published at Beijing Mellon Network Technology, we know that he's someone with great knowledge of electromagnetic propulsion, which I know nothing about at all. It seems that Peng has calmly and cool-headedly prepared everything, staged the protest, and then calmly and cool-headedly allowed himself to be arrested. Right now, we have no words about what happened after he was arrested. But the CCP was very quick to delete and censor all related videos, photos, and comments inside China. Words such as Hero, Beijing, Haidian, Sitong Bridge, Third Ring, banners, etc. are all banned. Any accounts that post photos will be permanently deleted. This user posted a simple sentence saying, "I saw it," but his Weibo account was immediately banned for 60 days. He complained on Twitter saying, "Why don't you ban all Chinese words?" Yes, even "I saw it" without any sensitive words was also banned. Even the NBA team Golden State Warriors Weibo account got affected. See this? One of the videos cannot be played as the word warrior in the account name was translated as 勇士 in Chinese, which is the same word for hero. However, there are still many people trying to express their support and respect for this lone wolf hero called Peng Lifa. This is an unrelated event that also happened today. Someone chose to do this at the Thousand Bridge at Changping District in Beijing. I've blurred the image a little. This place is less than only 30 miles away from the center of Beijing. However, we can't really say this is an unrelated event. More and more people are jumping off buildings to end their lives in China recently due to all kinds of difficulties. But the strict zero COVID control is the main reason. Well, that's basically a summary of what happened today, 3 days before the CCP's 20th National Congress, during which Xi Jinping is expected to get his third term. The timing of the real protest doesn't look good for Xi Jinping. Also, Peng bravely staged his one-man protest and called for national strikes and uprisings. Right now, we don't know whether any more protests will happen or follow. But follow me closely. I will try my best to update you if anything new happens. Now, let's move to our second topic today. As expected, the CCP's 7th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee was finished yesterday. So this time, Xinhua published the entire communique of the session, which speaks highly of Xi Jinping. Like I said last time, everyone is a hand-raising Robert, and all the agenda and work report were approved. The past 5 years since the CCP's 19th National Congress was said to be unusual and extraordinary, and Xi Jinping, as the core of the party, has united and led the whole party, the armed forces, and the people of all ethnic groups in effectively coping with the grave and complex international situation and a series of major risks and challenges, and pushing forward socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era in an energetic manner, etc. Towards the end of this communique, it says all the major achievements have been the result of concerted efforts of all party members and all Chinese people under the strong leadership of this Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping as its core and the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. The party has established Comrade Xi Jinping's core position on the party's Central Committee and in the party as a whole, and has defined the guiding role of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. The whole party should deeply understand the decisive significance of the two establishments, enhance the four awarenesses, firmly uphold the four self-confidences, and achieve two upholds, etc. If you don't often read the CCP's propaganda, you will really have no idea whatsoever of what those special terms such as two establishments and two upholds mean. Well, two upholds refer to upholding Xi Jinping's core position on the CCP's Central Committee and in the party as a whole, and upholding the Central Committee's authority and its centralized, unified leadership. And two establishments refer to establish of Xi Jinping as the core of the party's Central Committee and the core of the whole party, and the establishment of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era as the guiding ideology for the CCP. So in this sense, we can see that Xi Jinping has already been established as a god inside the CCP. It was also said that these two upholds and two establishments will be added to the CCP's party constitution at the upcoming 20th National Congress. If that happens, it means that Xi's power and status within the party will have reached another new height. Another thing to notice is that Ma Guoqiang, former party secretary of Wuhan city, who was removed in February 2020, right after the pandemic, was re-elected as a member of the Central Committee. On January 31st, 2020, when Ma Guoqiang did an interview with CCTV, he said that he felt guilty for the outbreak of in Wuhan, and he admitted that if they had taken measures earlier, things would be much different. Some people said he was trying to indicate that he, as the party secretary of Wuhan, didn't have the authority to decide lockdown Wuhan entirely. Anyway, he was removed 2 weeks after this interview. People commonly believed that the reason for his removal was that he didn't do well and he tried to cover up the pandemic. But now, only about 2+ years later, he was promoted to the Central Committee of the CCP. So, what can we get from his promotion? It means that even though he was removed because of the cover-up of the initial problems in Wuhan that had led to the outbreak in China and the entire world, he was doing all that under the direct instruction of Xi Jinping, so his removal equals to him taking the blame and bearing responsibility for Xi Jinping. So his entering the Central Committee was a reward for him and his loyalty to Xi Jinping. It also shows it doesn't matter how many people died because of his cover-up. As long as Xi Jinping is happy, he could be promoted to a much higher position and continue to enjoy everything that his power can bring him. Now, if Xi Jinping really enjoys more consolidated power after the 20th National Congress, what does that mean to China and to the world? Well, according to Song Guocheng, a senior researcher at National Chengchi University in Taiwan, the moment when Xi Jinping rises to the pinnacle of his power is when China falls off a cliff. He said, if nothing unexpected happens, the 20th National Congress will be nothing more than a ritualistic meeting to establish Xi Jinping as a god, as an enthronement ceremony of the Xi Emperor. However, from now on, China will leave Deng Xiaoping's reform and opening up line, abandoning the original advantages and conditions that have contributed to the rise of China for 40 years, and move towards the new Maoist line under Xi Jinping's dictatorship. This is a wrong course of dictatorship, closed-door development, isolation from the international world, and moving away from civilization. This means that China in the 21st century will move from gradual decay to ultimate collapse. He has given a lot of evidence to support his conclusion, including that China will not be able to feed its 1.4 billion population. Another former Chinese journalist shared what he learned about 5 common understandings the CCP leaders had reached and 8 possible policy directions after the 20th National Congress. This journalist is Zhao Lanjian, who just escaped from China to America in July after he tried to cover the issue of the chained woman. We talked about this issue too in February this year. Anyway, according to Zhao Lanjian, the 5 common understandings of the CCP leaders are, this one. 1. The relationship between China and the US is already irreparable. 2. communist ideology and universal values around the world have entered a final showdown stage. 3. The Western countries' siege has caused a critical situation for the CCP, both inside and outside China. 4. The economic downturn in China has brought about various social conflicts. 5. To prevent the collapse of the regime, it is inevitable to return to a closed-door, isolated state. Well, what do you think about the 5 common understanding? I think they are pretty much close to reality. So, based on the 5 common understandings, these are the 8 policy directions to go. 1. Rapid return to the original ideology of the CCP's doctrine, gradual elimination of private enterprises, and the nationalization of all enterprises to reach full communism. 2. Elimination of all Western cultural influence. 3. Combating the oligopoly economy, getting rid of the middle class and pleasing the bottom class. 4. Reducing the liberalization of social life and strengthening monopolistic rule. 5. Strict control of public opinion and cleansing of the internet to restrict freedom of expression. 6. Squeeze the space for private property and expand government financial resources. 7. Give more power to low-level government and strengthen law enforcement at the street and township levels. 8. Control of school education to improve the effect of brainwashing. If these are the directions to go, I think all Western brands and products could be gradually banned in China, including cultural products such as Hollywood movies. Even the entertainment industry inside China will be put under strict control. China may really go back to the era of the Cultural Revolution, when all the Chinese people had only 8 revolutionary model plays to watch, or the entire country will be turned into the Xinjiang model, a labor camp model, very soon. People have been asking me, why does the CCP have to adopt the so stupid zero-COVID policy when the entire world has opened up again without problems? Well, this might be the reason. It is not for the pandemic control, but to make the people get used to the strictest control and more hardships. If Xi Jinping and the CCP really intend to attack Taiwan soon, that's another reason to get the people get used to the strictest control. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. A viewer sent me an email and told me that he had been unsubscribed from my channel 3 times. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel and are still subscribed. Please also leave a comment, like, and share my videos to give me a boost. Or you can also go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com, jenniferzengblog.com, to sign up for a membership or make a donation to offer your support. Thank you so very much. Have a nice weekend. See you